The story you're about to see is a big, fat lie. No names have been changed to protect anybody.
Let's get ready to rumble!
And now, the USCFL Network, in association with YouTube, presents the USCFL Postgame Show. Here's once again is Robbie Graham.
Greetings, cartoon and football fans. This is Robbie Graham of the USCFL Network, bringing you the action and highlights of Week 2 of the USCFL's 2023 season. Before we continue, if you're joining us for the first time, may we extend to you a cordial welcome, and we hope you enjoy everything this channel has to offer. We also invite you to subscribe to this channel and join our team. We strive to be one of YouTube's least offensive channels by providing a different spin about your favorite cartoon characters from the past and present in a way that doesn't interfere with their true legacies. If your favorite character or characters aren't mentioned in our videos, please leave a comment and we will answer your questions. Also be sure to ring the bell to alert you of when we put up any new videos. The USCFL is now part of Patreon, and we invite you to support this channel for as low as $3 US dollars a month to as much as $5 US dollars a month. In time, we can offer merchandise and other perks to show your love for America's oldest fantasy football league. After a short break, we will talk about and present the highlights of Game 3 between a pair of Disney corporate cousins as the Jim Henson All-Stars played against the Marvel Comics All-Stars from Chicago. Welcome back. I'm sure that when Jim Henson announced last week that the team will play its final season this year, it brought on mixed emotions. On one side, some might think that it is time for a new team with new players, while some will think that this is the last link to the USCFL's past and shouldn't go into history. But after 42 years in this league, playing in 7 title games and winning it all 3 times, Jim Henson felt that the team has had enough. Also, since some of the characters on this team comes from Sesame Street, and we have watched the show for only a brief period of time, not many people knows all the characters from the show. So therefore, Jim Henson begins its final season in Chicago on Friday. The Marvel Comics All-Stars were predicted to end up dead last and didn't want to duplicate that standing this year. And they didn't, at least for now. Marvel Comics started off with a Spider-Woman field goal. Rolf later tied the game with a field goal of his own. Towards the end of the first quarter, Dr. Octopus intercepted a Kermit pass and went 96 yards for a pick 6 as Marvel Comics led 10-3 after the first quarter. In the second quarter, Rolf closed the gap 10-6. Marvel Comics extended the lead as She-Hulk threw a 6-yard touchdown pass to the Amazing Spider-Man to go up 17-6. Rolf cut the lead 17-9 with over 4 minutes left in the half. Under 2 minutes left, Spider-Woman kicked her second field goal to go up 20-9. Rolf got his 4th field goal to trail 20-12 at halftime. The only score of the third quarter came when Wolverine of the X-Men scored from 1 yard out to go up 27-12. In the fourth quarter, Wolverine got a second touchdown run to go up 34-12. Spider-Woman's third field goal extended the lead 37-12. With under 6 minutes left, Kermit finally got a touchdown for Jim Henson when he connected with 4th-string wide receiver Julia from Sesame Street from 35 yards out. It wasn't enough as Marvel Comics won 37-19. Marvel Comics will remain at home for round 2, while Jim Henson's second game will be on the road. As for the stats in this game, beginning with Jim Henson, Kermit the Frog finished 30 of 48 for 411 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Miss Piggy rushed for 125 yards on 27 carries. Gonzo led the receivers with 11 catches for 152 yards. The Swedish Chef led the defense as he cooked up 4 tackles and 2 assists. Rolf finished with 13 points. For Marvel Comics, She-Hulk finished 18 of 24 for 143 yards and 1 touchdown. She also rushed for 104 yards on 12 carries. Wolverine rushed for 107 yards on 30 carries and 2 touchdowns. Spider-Man led the receivers with 6 catches for 68 yards and 1 touchdown. Daredevil led the defense with 6 tackles, 8 assists, and 1 interception. Dr. Octopus, the game MVP, had 3 tackles, 1 assist, 1 interception, and the pick 6 he had in the first quarter. Spider-Woman also finished with 13 points. And here are the highlights of this game, courtesy of EA Sports.
She didn't care, but anyway, I tried last week for to call her, she wasn't home, but anyway, I think I'll spend my life, but Lord, I really don't care right now. But anyway, the state of affairs and the state of emotion, the kind of thing that you must understand. I'll tell you one thing, you tell me, and then we walk away, maybe then shake hands. It's bad for me, but anyway, I don't think that TV was joking when it told me this, but anyway, the newsman said not to sit on street corner cheats. It's my life he's trying to save. Well, anyway, I found out that I got eye cancer, too many television waves. Well, anyway, the state of affairs and the state of emotion, kind of thing that you must understand. I'll tell you one thing, you tell me, and then we walk away, maybe then shake hands. But anyway, I think the past is behind us. Be real confusing in that. But anyway, I put all my hope in tomorrow. It's gonna be great, I can tell. But anyway, I see a new day is dawning. I like to see it later well. But anyway, it's a state of affairs, a state of emotion. The kind of
After a short break, we will talk about and present the highlights of an exciting Game 4 between the DC Comics All-Stars and the comic strip All-Stars from Houston. Welcome back. Last night in Houston, the DC Comics All-Stars and the comic strip All-Stars continued their war with an exciting finish. This matchup is quickly becoming one of the best rivalries in the league. In fact, they met twice in 2020, in which the comic strip All-Stars won twice to go on to Disney Bowl 3. Last year, DC Comics lost to the Filmation All-Stars without having the ball for the last 6 minutes of the game. The comic strips defeated Filmation in the runner-up game. But this game was an epic match, although it didn't start that way at first. Batgirl got the scoring started with a short field goal. Then, with over 6 minutes left in the first quarter, Black Manta intercepted a Charlie Brown pass and ran it in for a pick six from 81 yards out to go up 10-0. Then Charlie Brown got his team on the board with a 77-yard touchdown pass to Snoopy to trail 10-7 after the first quarter. In the second quarter, a pair of Blondie Bumstead field goals put the comic strips up 13-10, with the second field goal coming with just over 3 minutes left in the first half. Batgirl tied the game with her second field goal with 1:24 left in the half. The only score of the third quarter came off of Batgirl's third field goal to go up 16-13. Then in the fourth quarter, the action got intense. Charlie Brown began the quarter with his second touchdown pass to Snoopy to go up 20-16 with over 14 minutes left. It stayed that way for nearly 12 minutes until Blondie got her third field goal to extend the lead 23-16 with 2:29 left to play. About a minute later, Wonder Woman threw a 50-yard touchdown pass to Zatanna to tie the game. 30 seconds later, DC Comics retook the lead with a pick six from Harley Quinn to go up 30-23. About 22 seconds later, Charlie Brown and Snoopy connected again for the third time to tie the game at 30-30. Then Batgirl's fourth field goal, right at the end of regulation, gave DC Comics a 33-30 victory. DC Comics will go home for round 2, while the comic strip All-Stars will go on the road. As for the stats in this game, beginning with DC Comics, Wonder Woman finished 17 of 35 for 280 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Robin rushed for 142 yards on 31 carries. Zatanna led the receivers with 4 catches for 124 yards and 1 touchdown. Catwoman led the defense with 7 tackles, 3 assists, and 1 interception. Black Manta, the game MVP, had 1 tackle, 3 assists, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery, and the pick six he had in the first quarter. Batgirl finished with 15 points. For the comic strip All-Stars, Charlie Brown finished 23 of 42 for 466 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, averaging an amazing 11 yards per pass. Archie Andrews rushed for 128 yards on 36 carries. Snoopy led the receivers with 6 catches for 261 yards and 3 touchdowns, averaging a staggering 43.5 yards per catch. Reggie Mantle led the defense with 7 tackles and 3 assists. Blondie Bumstead finished with 12 points. And here are the highlights of this exciting game, courtesy of EA Sports. After a short break, we will continue our series of player profiles with the player who helped DC Comics win last night, as we will profile Batgirl.
My story is much too sad to be told, but practically everything leaves me totally cold. The only exception I know is the case when I'm out on a quiet spree, fighting vainly the old ennui, and I suddenly turn and see your fabulous face. I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me.
Welcome back. There are 16 kickers in the USCFL. Some, of course, are better than others. But of those 16 kickers, only one was actually chosen to be its team's place kicker because of how she was portrayed in the past. For this week's profile, we will profile Batgirl. Although she is comparable as Batman and Robin, she has also been overshadowed by them, as proof as to how Warner Brothers spent $90 million making a Batgirl movie only to shelve it, never to see the light of day. But here is words to tell you about Batgirl's history outside of the comic books, as well as her time in the USCFL.
Batgirl is the name of several superheroines appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics, depicted as female counterparts and allies to the superhero Batman. Although the character Betty Kane was introduced into publication in 1961 by Bill Finger and Sheldon Moldoff as Batgirl, she was replaced by Barbara Gordon in 1967, who later came to be identified as the iconic Batgirl. The character debuted in Detective Comics number 359, January 1967, by writer Gardner Fox and artist Carmine Infantino, introduced as the daughter of Police Commissioner James Gordon. Portrayed by Yvonne Craig, the character's first adaptation outside of comic books took place in the third season of Batman, 1967, Barbara Gordon having been discussed months earlier by her father and Batman in the second season episodes Batman's Waterloo and The Duo Defy. Les Daniels, in Batman, The Complete History, 2004, wrote that the goal of ABC was to attract new audience members, especially idealistic young girls and less high-minded older men. According to Craig, I used to think the reason they hired me was because they knew I could ride my own motorcycle. I realized they hired me because I had a cartoon voice. A shared criticism of Batgirl and other female superheroes in television that came later, such as Wonder Woman and the Bionic Woman, is that she was not allowed to engage in hand-to-hand combat on screen. As such, her fights were choreographed carefully to imitate the moves of a Broadway showgirl through the use of a straight kick to her opponent's face rather than the type of kick a martial artist would use. However, Craig has also stated, I meet young women who say Batgirl was their role model. They say it's because it was the first time they ever felt girls could do the same things guys could do, and sometimes better. I think that's lovely. During the early 1970s, Craig portrayed Batgirl once again in a public service announcement to advocate equal pay for women. Since Batman, the character has had a long history of appearances in television and other media. As Batgirl, Barbara Gordon plays a supporting role in a string of animated series, voiced by Jane Webb in the Batman/Superman Hour, 1968, Melody Britain. The New Adventures of Batman, 1977, Melissa Gilbert in Batman, the Animated Series, 1992, Tara Strong in the New Batman Adventures, 1997, Danielle Judovitz in The Batman, 2004, Mae Whitman in Batman, The Brave and the Bold, 2008, and Brianna Cuoco in Harley Quinn, 2019. In 2012, Batgirl starred alongside Supergirl and Wonder Girl in Super Best Friends Forever, a series of shorts developed by Lauren Faust for the DC Nation block on Cartoon Network. As for her time in the USCFL, Batgirl's kicking prowess isn't as prolific as Adora of the Filmation All-Stars, Ariel the Little Mermaid or Sailor Moon. She will help DC Comics get out of deficits like she did in last night's game. She has missed almost as many field goals as she makes. However, if last night's game is any indication of how well she does, Batgirl could go on to become one of the most prolific kickers in the league. The following is a brand new video showing Batgirl's memorable feats from both live action and animation. She got off to a good start in 2023, the question will remain if she can keep it up for the rest of the season.
Always sticking your nose in my business. Well, this time I'm going to teach you a lesson.
As long as you're holding class as Penguin, perhaps you'd include Batgirl, too.
Batgirl? Batgirl? Batgirl! Batgirl?
The fact remains you do know my secret, my dual identity. And you must swear never to reveal it to anyone.
Well, really, Batgirl,
No, Alfred, you must swear. If you reveal my identity to anyone, I'll be of no further use as a crime fighter. You wouldn't take advantage of a woman's trust, would you? Now, you must swear, as a gentleman's gentleman.
Very well. You have my word as a gentleman's gentleman that no one will ever learn your secret from me.
Thank you, Alfred. I must make a quick change.
When you see her, say a prayer and kiss your heart goodbye. She's trouble in a world, get close
the last of her, I shouldn't be at all surprised, sir.
Who is this Batgirl?
That's what we'd all like to know.
Whoever she is behind that mask of hers, she helped us out of a dire dilemma.
Oh, yes. Think how horrible it would have been to be married to the Penguin.
Horrible. Be married to me? Fool. You can't imagine such bliss.
After one final break, we will reveal the answer to last week's trivia question, this week's question, and a preview of next week's games. Welcome back. Now for the answer to last week's trivia question. We asked which Shakespearean play The Lion King was based after. If you guessed Hamlet, you are correct. The plots of both Hamlet and The Lion King were similar to the point that The Lion King loosely was based on the classic play. And now for this week's question. The category is Starfire, Spice, and Everything Nice. The degree of difficulty is veteran or moderately easy. Here on Earth, we know the Teen Titan known as Starfire by that name. But on her homeworld of Tamarand, she's known by a popular spice. The question is, what spice is Starfire called on her home world? Is the correct answer A, cinnamon, B, coriander, C, ginger, or D, nutmeg? We'll have the answer for you next week. And that wraps it up for week 2 of the USCFL's 2023 season. Next week we will talk about and present the highlights of Game 5 as the league's second biggest rivalry is renewed as the Disney All-Stars takes on the Warner Brothers All-Stars from Philadelphia, and the highlights of Game 6 between the Filmation All-Stars and the Cartoon Network All-Stars from Newark, New Jersey, as well as another player profile in the USCFL. Be sure to look into supporting us on Patreon for as little as $3 a month. And until next Sunday, this is Robbie Graham of the USCFL Network wishing you peace. Take care and stay safe.
All the characters and franchises mentioned throughout this webcast remains the copyright of their respective owners. They were used for the purpose of entertainment and or education, and therefore no breach of any copyright laws were intended. This webcast is protected under copyright and must not be rewritten, re-recorded, rebroadcast or re-uploaded in whole or in part without the prior written consent of First and 10 Productions, the American Association of Animation, and the United States Cartoon Football League. Copyright 2023.